In the kitchen, the knife is one of the most important tools a chef has in their toolbox. Learning and perfecting basic knife skills is crucial to properly preparing great tasting food and, most importantly, maintaining a safe work environment. There are a few different types of knives, so it is good to know what each knife looks like and when to use each one. This knife is a chef's knife. This is one of the most versatile knives in your arsenal, and you'll want to use this one for anything from cutting meat or dicing vegetables. This one is a paring knife. It looks like a smaller version of a chef's knife, usually about 3 or 4 inches in length, and is useful for more delicate work that requires higher precision. You'll want to pull this one out when deveining shrimp or peeling fruits and vegetables. This is a serrated knife. You'll recognize this one by its sharp serrated edge on the blade, which you'll want to use anytime you're slicing bread or tomatoes. These are going to be your core key knives for most purposes. For meat preparation, you'll also want to use a boning knife, a carving knife, or a cleaver. There are a lot of other knives too, used for a variety of special purposes. You want to make sure to learn the types of knives used in your kitchen. Keeping your knives sharp is important, not just for the preparation of the food, but for your safety in the kitchen. Having sharp knives will help you work faster and prevent any slipping during the preparation process. To keep your knife sharp, you can use a steel like this one, burning from tail to tip down the steel several times. You can also send them out to get them professionally sharpened, which you may want to do at least once or twice a year. Now let's get into the proper knife technique. One of the most important techniques to learn is how to hold the knife. For more control, you want to choke up. That means keeping your thumb and index finger on the handle of the knife closer to the blade. You don't want to grip it too hard, just a nice firm grasp. When you're cutting round produce like an onion, you want to chop in half first to create a flat surface. Then you can rest the flat surface on the table without it rolling around on you. You want to keep the knife at about elbow height using controlled, precise cuts. Now on the other hand, grasp your fingers curled like a claw, pointed down with the side of the blade firm against your knuckles. This will prevent any unnecessary injury. Accidents unfortunately can happen in the kitchen, particularly when you're working with sharp tools. So this technique could mean the difference between a minor accident or a major one, especially when you're still sharpening your skills. When choosing a specific cut, there are 3 things to consider: speed, waste, and consistency. Each cut has pros and cons. Pick 2 of 3 applies here. So a cut that's fast and efficient can tend to be wasteful, while a uniform cut with low waste will be more time intensive, and a speedy, low waste cut will lose some uniformity. When you're slicing food, you want to use a front to back sawing motion with the tip of your blade resting on the cutting board instead of going up and down. This helps again with control of the knife and will be more efficient. A technique that you're going to learn is called squaring off, which is exactly what it sounds like. This is helpful in creating uniform sized divisions of food. You begin by first chopping one side of your item and then rolling it, and then continue till you hit all 4 sides, creating an easy to use piece of produce. A lot of times you will see carrots cut with what is called the julienne cut, thinly sliced and rectangular. After you've squared off your carrot, you'll run your knife blade down about 1/4 of an inch, creating long planks. Then you'll take those planks and slide through in nice uniform sizes to create a matchstick. That is your julienne. There are many sizes of dicing that you'll use, with the brunoise or fine dice being the smallest of them. To do this, you'll take your julienne cuts and make very fine cuts lengthwise, keeping the tip of the knife blade on the cutting board and using the sweet spot towards the tang of the blade. Most cuts, the bassinet, small dice, medium dice, and so on, use the same technique. It all comes down to learning the sizes of each and learning what sizes you would like to use for any particular dish. All that it comes down to really is practice. Eventually, it will be second nature. It's just about learning the process through repetition. All right, let's look at how to cut an onion for the most yield. We're going to start off by cutting off the tip of the onion and then cutting in lengthwise towards the root, but leaving the root intact. For a couple reasons, that's going to make your job a lot easier. It's going to keep the onion from bleeding, which is going to cause less tears, and it's also going to make your dice a lot finer and easier. You're first going to take the tip of your knife, a clawed hand like we had talked about, and slice through towards the tip, but not going all the way through. Just keep your lines parallel and clean. Once then, twist the onion, and with a flat palmed hand, you're now going to slice into the onion. Again, going towards the root, but not all the way through. And finish with one right there on top. Pull everything back together with your clawed hands and just do straight down slices, which is then going to create your dice. Nice uniform cuts. Keeping those fingers out of the way, all the way back. And when you're through, all you're left with is an unusable root and a board full of beautiful diced medium cuts. All right, let's take a look at another example, a bell pepper for instance. What we can do here is cut down around the sides, take the top and bottom poles, and then remove the seeds and stems so that you get the most yield possible. First, let's start with a slightly curved cut down from the north to the south pole. Again, using your clawed fingers not to have any fingers in the way there. Lay it down on its side so you have that flat surface. Go straight down on that bottom and then just go around on the top. We can now pull this off. All that you're left there is a seed and stem. Now to get your julienne cut out of this, you'll simply start on the fleshy side. Your blade will have an easier time going through that. And slide through, keeping the tip of the knife on the cutting board and using that hot spot on the back of the knife. If you wanted to turn your julienne cut into a dice, you could simply turn it and now go straight down to create your dice. Again, leaving the tip of your knife on the cutting board. Leaving you with a cutting board of beautiful diced pepper and very little waste. So there you have it. Proper knife technique is one of the most important skills in your toolkit when working in any kitchen. It's something that you're going to get better and better at over time, so keep on practicing. And a big thank you to the Virginia Beach Restaurant Association for keeping our kitchen safe.